Title: Travis Kelce left speechless after Taylor Swift's surprise. It was the eve of Travis Kelce's 36th birthday, and the Kansas City Chiefs had just clinched another thrilling win that kept their playoff hopes alive. The city was buzzing with celebration, but inside Travis's sprawling Kansas estate, he was unaware that the real show had yet to begin. Travis had always been the center of attention, on the field, at parties, in the press. But ever since Taylor Swift entered his life, things had shifted. She was a force of nature, yet delicate and thoughtful in a way that tugged at the deepest parts of his soul. Their whirlwind romance had captivated the world. From the moment she was first spotted cheering in a Chiefs suite, the media had declared them the golden couple of pop and sports. But this time, Taylor wanted to flip the script. She was going to surprise him. Chapter 1: The Secret Plan. Taylor had spent months crafting something extraordinary. Between her sold-out Eras tour performances and her tightly packed album re-recordings, she secretly worked with Travis's closest friends, family, and teammates. She told no one except her inner circle, Andrea and Scott, her parents, Tree Payne, her publicist, and Blake Lively, her mischief partner and confidant. Even Travis's brother Jason was sworn to secrecy, and that was no small feat. The plan was a night he'd never forget, a hidden location surprise party, a custom song written just for him, and one final twist that would turn his world upside down. Taylor called it Project Arrowhead. Chapter 2: The Setup. Travis had no idea what was coming. He thought he was heading to a casual birthday dinner with Taylor at a quiet place outside the city. She insisted on keeping it low-key this year, and he didn't mind. After all, he just wanted to spend time with her. But as their car approached an old stone bridge lit with flickering lanterns, Travis noticed something strange. The air had a cinematic quality, like something out of a Nicholas Sparks novel. He turned to Taylor, who simply smiled and said, "Trust me." They pulled into a hidden vineyard estate, rented out entirely for the night. The moment he stepped out of the car, soft acoustic guitar music drifted through the air. Rows of fairy lights danced above the hedges. Then came the sound of laughter, familiar laughter. As Travis turned the corner, he froze. There, under a canopy of lights and starlit skies, stood his mom Donna, his brother Jason and sister-in-law Kylie, Chiefs players like Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, and even some of his childhood friends from Cleveland Heights. He blinked. "What is this?" Taylor grinned. "It's your life. All in one place." Chapter 3: The Performance. After warm embraces and toasts, Taylor took center stage, well, technically a little wooden platform near the vineyard's main fire pit. She wore a crimson dress that shimmered like the Chiefs' jersey color under the flames. Her guitar was already in place. "Tonight," she said, "I want to share a song that no one else has heard, not my fans, not my label, not even Travis. I wrote it for him. This is End Zone Heartbeat." The crowd hushed. Taylor strummed the first chord, and the air itself seemed to pause. Her voice floated into the night, weaving lyrics that spoke of locker rooms and love letters, of roaring crowds and quiet nights on balconies, of fear, fame, and finding safety in one person's arms. "You caught 1,000 passes, but you caught me off guard. In a stadium of strangers, I found my North Star. You broke the huddle, ran toward fate. Now I'm writing love songs at Arrowhead Gate." Travis's eyes welled up. He wasn't used to being vulnerable, not in public, not like this. But this wasn't a performance. This was real. The kind of real that cracked a man open. When the song ended, the guests rose in stunned applause. But Travis just stood there, speechless, a single tear rolling down his cheek. He pulled Taylor into a tight embrace. "You wrote that for me?" he whispered. She nodded. Every word. Chapter 4: The Final Surprise. The night rolled on with laughter, dancing, and stories told around a roaring fire. But Taylor wasn't done yet. Just as the clock struck midnight, Taylor called everyone's attention. "There's one last thing," she said, stepping beside Travis and holding his hand. "One more surprise." The lights dimmed. A giant screen rose from the vineyard grass like a magic trick. Then came the reel, a 10-minute video montage of Travis's life, from grainy footage of him as a toddler in a football helmet to high school highlights, draft day nerves, Super Bowl victories, and moments with Taylor. It ended with a message in her voice. "In a world that cheers for touchdowns and trophies, I cheer for you. For the man behind the helmet, the heart behind the hype. Happy birthday, Travis. And one more thing." The screen faded to black. Taylor turned to him, eyes glistening, and took something from her pocket. No, it wasn't a ring. It was a key. "To our new house," she said softly. "In Nashville. A place where we can just be us." Travis stood there, blinking, holding the key in one hand and her hand in the other. "You really did all this?" he asked, voice thick. She nodded, beaming. "You always give 100%. I thought you deserved 110. Epilogue, after the surprise. The next morning, the story had already gone viral. Paparazzi photos leaked, and fans speculated about the mystery song and the secret location. But none of that mattered. For Travis Kelce, the night wasn't about fame or cameras. It was about a woman who knew his soul and dared to love him deeply, openly, and creatively. He was used to scoring touchdowns. But on that night, under vineyard stars, he was the one who had been caught, completely, beautifully off guard. And for the first time in a long time, Travis Kelce was speechless. Sure. Here's a long fictional story titled, Travis Kelce Left Speechless After Taylor Swift's Surprise. It was a rare quiet night in Kansas City. The Chiefs had clinched another playoff berth, and Travis Kelce had just returned home after a grueling practice session. His muscles ached, but his spirit was light. He was looking forward to a weekend off with Taylor, who had promised him a chill weekend. That usually meant cozy nights, wine, laughter, and her humming softly while she worked on lyrics or read books on the couch next to him. But Taylor Swift had other plans. For weeks, she'd been meticulously planning a surprise that would shake Travis to his core. She had dropped subtle hints, mentioning trips, asking about his childhood favorites, and most tellingly, getting unusually close to his mom, Donna Kelce. All part of the plan. It had all started with a question she asked him 3 weeks ago: "What was your biggest dream as a kid, aside from football?" He'd laughed and said, "I don't even remember. I think I wanted to be a superhero once. And maybe, own a jazz bar." He'd forgotten the conversation. She hadn't. Now, as Travis walked through the front door of their home, he noticed the lights were dimmed. Soft jazz music played in the background. Confused, he looked around. "Taylor?" he called out. In the backyard, came her voice. He walked through the house, stopping at the sliding glass doors. When he stepped outside, his jaw dropped. Their backyard had been transformed into a vintage, 1920s style jazz lounge. A velvet red carpet stretched out beneath his feet. Small, circular tables covered in white linen were surrounded by elegant chairs. Candlelight flickered in crystal holders. A small stage had been set up at the far end, complete with a mic stand, a golden saxophone, and a live band made up of musicians he'd never seen before, but who were playing as if they had known him forever. Taylor stood in the center of it all, dressed in a glittering, old Hollywood-inspired gown with a feathered boa over her shoulders. She looked like she had just walked out of The Great Gatsby. Travis just stood there, completely speechless. "You remember that jazz bar dream you told me about?" Taylor said, walking over and gently placing a hand on his chest. "I couldn't build you a bar, at least not yet, but I figured I could bring the dream to life. Just for tonight." He opened his mouth to say something, but no words came. He was overwhelmed, not just by how beautiful she looked, but by the effort, the detail, and the love behind it all. But wait, she added, grinning mischievously. That's not the surprise. What? He finally managed. She took his hand and led him to the center of the lawn, now turned dance floor. The band shifted into a new song, one he didn't recognize at first. But then the lyrics hit him. It was about him. A new song. Taylor's voice flowed into the night, rich and soft, but every word was about their story. From the first time they met, to the way he had cheered her on in the shadows during her tour, to how he held her when the world got too loud, to how his silly dances made her laugh when she was too exhausted to speak. The chorus. You caught the pass I didn't throw. But you ran with it like you always know. That love ain't a game, but you play it right. And I fell in the end zone of your life. Travis felt a lump form in his throat. He wasn't used to crying. He'd taken helmet hits harder than most, battled through playoffs with busted ribs, but nothing prepared him for the emotional uppercut of hearing his love story sung back to him by the woman he loved. As the song ended, Taylor walked off the stage. The crowd, made up of a few close friends, family, and band members, applauded. She returned to him, eyes shimmering. There's more, she whispered. He blinked. There's more. She nodded and handed him a small envelope. It was matte black with golden lettering that read, "To the man who turned my fairy tale into the real thing." He opened it. Inside was a plane ticket. First class. One way. Destination, Paris. What's this? He asked. Well, she said, I know how much pressure you're under during the season. And I know you've always wanted to see Paris properly, not just a rushed off-season tour. So I've planned it all. After the season ends, just you and me. No paparazzi. No public appearances. A secret hideaway on the Seine. Just us. Travis put the letter down and looked at her, stunned. You did all this? She nodded. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then, without a word, he wrapped his arms around her and held her tight. It wasn't just the surprise, or the song, or the jazz. It was the feeling, of being truly known, truly seen, and loved for every goofy, strong, vulnerable part of him. He pulled back just enough to look her in the eyes. You just blitzed my whole heart, he whispered. She laughed, and that laugh, light, free, full of joy, was the final note to a night he'd never forget. Later, as the two slow danced under a canopy of fairy lights and stars, Travis whispered, I don't even have the words. You don't need to, Taylor said, resting her head against his chest. Your heart speaks just fine. And in that moment, for once in his life, Travis Kelce was completely, utterly, blissfully speechless.